Canadian business leaders are coming together to take action against anti-Black systemic racism. They've created a new council and launched the Black North Initiative, which aims to increase representation of Blacks in boardrooms and executive suites across Canada. With more on this, I'm joined by Wes Hall, founder and executive chairman of Kingsdale Advisors. Wes, good morning. Welcome to our program.
Good morning, Marcia. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Why is it important for businesses to have Black representation at the executive level?
Well, I think if you look at the numbers, it shows that if you have true diversity in your executive ranks and the board level, that the numbers actually go up, meaning that your company can be a lot more successful financially. So talking to these business leaders and coming together on this issue, it was very clear to us that, first of all, it was very clear to everyone that I spoke to that there is a problem. And everyone that I spoke to also wanted to come up with a solution to solve the problem. But as anything, it starts at the top. And for these leaders to commit that they will make the changes at the top necessary to really have Blacks at the table, it's really important, and they're putting their name behind it. And so far, even though we just launched this morning, we've received a number of very positive responses. So it's very, very good to see.
That's amazing. Can you talk to us about the representation as it stands right now? Our Black Canadians are... How much presence is there on boards, in executive suites? Can you give us some numbers?
Yeah, the numbers, the reason why I can't give you numbers is because they don't really exist, namely because of the fact that we have very, very minimal representation. So if I'm going to put a percentage to it, it's probably going to have a lot of zeros before you actually find a number. But we actually know that this problem existed before because, for example, we have the 30% Club, whereby there is a lack of female representation on the board, yet women represent over 50% of the population. And that has changed now, and it's changing. There's still work to be done in that regard. But we're way behind that initiative. And I think the business leaders are saying, we need to change that conversation. We need to add representation on the board. And we feel that this is something that is going to happen not in a very long period of time, but I think it's going to happen over a very short period of time where you have people like me being represented on board.
Right.
And also on senior management teams.
Certainly the will is there. You're wearing a shirt that says, "I am George Floyd," and that is the name of the column that you wrote basically last week. I read it last week in the Globe, so I'm glad for the opportunity to speak with you. I'm unfortunately just about out of time because we have to go to the Prime Minister, but in your column, and I encourage everyone to read it, you talk about how people may not think they're racist, but the system certainly is. And you give this example of being out for a walk, and if an elderly white woman fell on the ground, you'd be in a difficult position deciding whether or not you should help her. Can you just speak to that as your final thought with us this morning, Wes?
Yeah, I think that, somebody may not be a racist, but because of the way the system is set up, and we look at Amy Cooper, for example, she had to just simply say to the police that an African-American man was attacking me for her to get 911 to show up immediately. So it's those kinds of thinking that we're really trying to change in the system so that I don't have to be in my own neighborhood, which is my sanctuary, and have to worry about whether or not I should think twice about helping someone in need.
Wes Hall, founder and executive chairman of Kingsdale Advisors. Wes, all the best to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Marcia.